Welcome back to the Road Show. This morning in the Buzz, more details are coming out about the apparent suicide of the accused Craigslist killer, and they are very disturbing. Now, the Boston Globe is reporting that Philip Markoff used his own blood to write his ex-fiance's name on the wall of his Boston jail cell. Apparently, he took his own life a year and 1 day after he was supposed to marry Megan McAllister, his fiancée at the time of his arrest. Since his death, Rhode Island prosecutors say they will dismiss charges against Markoff for a Warwick hotel attack, and we're told that's common after a defendant dies. In the meantime, the family of the Manhattan woman allegedly shot to death by Markoff in a Boston hotel says they will be seeking other avenues to justice following Markoff's death. Now, here's the thing, the family of this victim is really upset because they wanted justice to be served. Even Julissa Brisman's family is upset because this guy is not sitting and rotting in a jail cell. He took it upon himself to take his own life, and aside from the victims' families, I have to say I really feel for Megan McAllister, his ex-fiancée.
I was just going to say that. I mean, knows what she's dealing with.
I know, and here's a woman who, you know, this was all revealed. You know, they were living together before they even got married, and so she was in a
what she thought was a very happy, healthy relationship.
Yes, and boy, was she wrong.
Right.
I mean, you know, the thing that is really particularly upsetting about this is after she did find out and she said, you know, I'm breaking it off, you go through different stages of grief. You get angry. You might say, I'm not talking to you ever again. And then maybe in the back of your mind you think, no, at some point we'll talk this out. We'll see what happens.
I can't abandon this person. They need me now more than ever.
Exactly. She... You know, now she's going to be going through a whole other process because I can't imagine that this is done. And the same thing with the other victims' families.
How do you ever trust somebody after that? How do you kind of move on?
I know.
Here's what I would hope, though, for the family of Julissa Brisman, for the Rhode Island victim, is that maybe you can go and find another avenue to find justice. There were reports of him using an ID from a different person to actually get the gun that killed Julissa Brisman. So maybe you go and you try and legislate at the state level, at the national level. Do something to maybe positively affect change in this case, because you aren't going to be able to sit there and physically see this man rotting in jail.
Well, and I think because of that, you know, even more than all of what you recommended, which is part of the process and is a good thing to do, internally you have to decide, I'm letting it go. I'm not going to, you know, it's not going to emotionally hook me. But of course, that is a long process to go through.
I feel justice is never served when it's a suicide case after these murders. You know, I mean, how many times do you see, you know, somebody goes into their office and performs these horrific acts and kills coworkers and then, you know, takes their own life, or you know, the kids at Columbine took their own life. So you never get to the bottom of it. There's really no justice.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't really want to. I don't know if you want to see someone rotting in a jail cell, but you want to see them serve some sort of for their crime.
I think at some points you do. I think at some points in the grieving process, you want to see, you're angry, you want to see that person hurt. I think at the end there has to be a forgiveness where you say, you know what, it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm letting it go. But I don't think there ever is really any closure, especially with this.
I don't think there's ever true justice.
Yeah. There's no true justice, there's no true closure.
Somebody took
whether he killed
away
himself
a loved one.
right. Whether he killed himself or not, I mean, is there really justice for taking your daughter or your sister? Or?
You know, I want to turn over to Mel because, you know, certainly I'm sure you've heard this, Mel, as well, that it's really been a water cooler topic of conversation lately. I mean, this is what people are talking about. I know that, you know, on a completely superficial level, I was interested in hearing the first jailhouse interview and just to answer questions why and how this happened, and I think a lot of people are talking about that this morning.
Yeah, they are, and I have to say it's a really tragic story. Our producer Ashley and I were both saying, you know, there really are no winners in this horrible story. But let's head on over to the live blog and see what some of our bloggers have to say about the Buzz this morning. Jerry said he had a right to do whatever he wanted with his life. This is a free country. These people should get over it. And Joe says absolutely not. The family deserved closure. Markoff is a coward and couldn't even stand as a man on his day. This is in God's hands now. And in case you're just joining us, I posted today's Buzz poll question on foxprovidence.com. You'll find it right under the live blog. And today we're asking, do you think that justice was served. Your choices are A, yes, the case will now be closed, or B, no, the case should have gone to trial. And our friends on Facebook are weighing in this morning. Lauren Silva says justice was not served. He should have had to rot in jail and have had all that time to think about what he did. And Angie says justice will now take place when he faces God. It is out of our hands. And Kathy Farris says absolutely not. The families deserve the right to confront him. It goes to show you what a coward he really was. So a lot of comments this morning on this topic, and don't go anywhere because I'll be back at the end of the show with your web poll results. But